think it's very important for you to understand your target audience and your target market and understand if these certifications are even valuable for your industry, right? If they even take into account these certifications when they're looking to award bids.
Hello, Empower Nation. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. I am your host, Angela Duncan, money coach, entrepreneur, and we are talking all things business and finance. Welcome to the show today, Yanny. How are you?
I'm so good, Angela. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your time. So I would love for you to start off with your story and kind of your journey from, as far back as you want to go, and then talk about the Win Women today.
Absolutely. So I am through and through an entrepreneur. I started my business about 2011, frankly, out of need. I had a client. I was a sales girl for a long time. I had a client that basically said to me, I want you to teach my sales team the way that you sold to me, and basically said to me, hey, start an LLC. I'll pay you that way. And that's how my entrepreneur journey started. So from just kind of doing sales training to the evolution of this brand, the Win Woman, what we've ended up really encompassing is how are we thinking through and being the experts that corporations really lean on for their supplier diversity practices, their sustainability practices, and their philanthropy. And then on the other side of the house, we work a lot with nonprofit organizations in bridging the gap of their financials, fundraising and such, and really expanding their piece as it relates to how they come in with corporations. So that's what we do. The Win Woman really stands for my favorite avatar, which is and favorite superhero, which is Wonder Woman. I have her right here at my desk. Loved the power in her truth and stepping into her own. And I have been very competitive since a little girl. I was an athlete, a swimmer growing up. And so one time my business coach basically said, hey, you're like the Win Woman. And I ran to the trademark office to brand that. Today, our team is comprised of, we have a full staff of minorities and women in our business that serve corporations and leaders in the things that I've mentioned: supplier diversity, sustainability, and such. So that's the evolution of our brand and what we do.
Awesome. That's a great story. So let's dive into a couple topics today
Sure.
that I know that you are an expert in, and perhaps give back some information to the audience. So let's first talk about scaling your business from business to business, or otherwise known as B2B. What are some things that you can, give back to the community and talk about some things that maybe they need to be thinking about if this is the industry that they are in?
So I think the biggest thing to know is that a lot of business owners, women-owned businesses, and even just business owners in general get very intimidated by the process of having a B2B client. They think that you need to have a certain revenue stream. They think that there's a lot of cumbersome paperwork, a lot of things that encompass. And that I think a lot of times there's imposter syndrome that comes out when you're working with B2B. I will say, because our market is B2B, and I will say I'm very biased in the sense that I love the sector. The easiest way, and this is something that I wish if I were to tell my younger self or my early entrepreneur self, especially if I'm a woman-owned business, a minority-owned business, there's a number of certifications that you can get, is to take advantage of certification and certification by large national organizations that give you access to the pool of corporations that are intentionally really setting aside dollars to work with your business. They're setting aside millions of dollars to work with your business. And yes, they're setting aside dollars to work with what we call in the industry tier 2 businesses, which are businesses that are under $1 million. And they're specifically wanting to work with women-owned or minority-owned businesses or LGBTQ plus A businesses. There's a lot of different certifications that you can get. But that's what I would tell myself earlier on, like really get certified, get that leg up, because there's a lot of business opportunity in that space.
Great, great. And for those that may be starting off on their entrepreneurial journey, can you give us like some specific certifications that you have seen that help in your industry as well?
Absolutely. So I think it's very important for you to understand your target audience and your target market, and understand if these certifications are even valuable for your industry, right? If they even take into account these certifications when they're looking to award bids. For me, I will say we're in the space of media, entertainment, technology, financial services, and education. And what I knew to be true was that our audience and our target demographic held very highly certifications by the national entities like WeBank, like at MSDC. They were posting on the website in the sense of our vendors, we do business with these vendors that are certified. And I just knew that, well, it's time for me to get certified. And so that doesn't mean that you can't do business B2B if you don't have certification, but that's why you have to kind of dial it into your target demographic, see if this is which certification really works for you. Sometimes doing business B2G, local government certifications or state government certifications are the ones that they value more than these national ones, right? So you got to really do a little bit of the research on what your target audience is looking at before you jump into the B2B space, and then look at, what we want to encompass national, state, or local certifications that may be relevant for you to actually go after.
Yeah, and some things that people don't often realize is the certifications can allow you to apply for different grants in different sectors. So, going along with the nonprofit as well, if people have money available, a lot of these larger corporations, they have budget items that they have money to give to organizations, but they're going to also look for some of those certifications as well. So that's exactly great. That's great information. So B2G, for the audience that doesn't understand what that means, I mean, we hear B2B a lot, so business to business, but what more is the B2G, and how do you like differentiate that from the B2B?
Absolutely. So B2G is specifically business to government. So a lot of opportunity in the government space, like the B2B. The B2G sector is really it's encompassed in local, state, and national, local, state, and federal, right? And so a lot of times people get intimidated by this piece. They get intimidated by, oh, the government, so much paperwork or whatever it is, right? So again, certifications like WOSB, which is a certification that the government actually awards to women-owned small businesses, is another type of certification to go after and to be able to employ some of these contracts. And again, state contracts, local contracts, or even federal contracts can be incredibly lucrative, and they can literally apply to, professional services, from services to product-based businesses. When you're doing business with the government, you need to think about that the government buys everything from Post-it notes to training and development services to construction type pieces. They have to put things out for bid, and they have to have a procurement process. And so what's nice about getting into the government space is that there are codes specific to your industry, and the search capabilities of what type of actual bids are out there, or RFPs, requests for proposals that are out there, are very easy to kind of really infuse into your business development practice. So besides just the business to consumer that you might be doing in a product, you can also do a little line into the government and say, hey, you know what, I'll apply for 3 to 4 RFPs this month and see what comes out of that, right? So it's another great lane for business development for entrepreneurs to consider.
That's awesome. I mean, there's probably so many certifications out there, but you're right. Doing your research, figuring out, where should you spend your dollars, and knowing that there's money out there, it's available. It's kind of just sitting there saying, hey, come get money. But, there's going to be requirements in order for you to do that too. So that's awesome too. And I know you do a lot of charity work. So what are some things that perhaps either certifications or people that are running nonprofits or want to go down that route, what should they be considering?
Absolutely. So, as far as the philanthropy work that we do and helping nonprofits build capacity and everything else, a lot of times, these are where you start thinking about what industry associations that you might be affiliated to, right? So, for example, for us, because we do development and fundraising, the Association for Fundraising Professionals is a go-to center of influence organization that we do a lot of partnership work on, right? And so when I think about entrepreneurs and thinking about like even whatever industry they're looking to go into, there's usually an industry association that is very tied to whatever industry you're looking to evolve into. And so for us, being even affiliated, not just a certification, but affiliated, partnering intentionally with organizations like the Association for Fundraising Professionals, or, on another case, like the Chronicle of Philanthropy, which is one of the leading news and media outlets for all things philanthropy and fundraising, is a really good opportunity for like, how can we increase the influence and the scope of influence that we're having in the way that we're doing impact work, or the way that our work is impacting those around us, clients, and how do we increase our visibility so that frankly people can find us. So beyond certification, those are some of the other tips that I would have, is just how are we thinking through a more holistic view of how people find us, where they go to, how we can associate ourselves with other organizations that are doing it very well or are thought leaders in this space, to be able to kind of really create this perception of one, expertise, and also really fine tune the knowledge that you all bring to the table, whether it's, again, product based or service based.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a business owner, we're looking at our profit and where we should be spending money at. And oftentimes people are spending money in the wrong places. That's not going to be best suited for their business. So certifications and furthering their education for that point is a great way for business owners to become more visible and hitting that ideal client that they're looking for to create more profit and then give back and, just continue that generational wealth. So I have a fun question for you. We're going to switch topics for a minute.
Sure.
You pointed out the Superwoman, Wonder Woman. So it may be somewhere along that lines, but if you could have a super talent or superpower, what would you pick and why would you pick it?
So it's funny because I've given this a lot of thought, even as a little kid, of which superpower I would have. And I'm just going to say it. There might be some judgment around it when I'm about to unleash what I'm about to say. But basically, the superpower that I've always wanted to refine is mind control. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I wanted to mind control, or really understand. I feel like more importantly, it's like the empathy of understanding why people do what they do or how they think. It's not just mind reading. It's like, how do we influence behavior? And so it goes back to, for me, my expertise besides the sales piece is I have a certification and my MBA is in negotiation. And I've always been interested in what human behavior is like, but why people behave the way they do, understanding how to empathize with individuals and how to meet people where they're at. And so for me to better understand individuals in the sense of like, what made them have that decision, how they, like, for example, I think about wars, I think about all these other things that happen in like, our government and our influence in policy and things like that. And I would love to be able to understand why people did that, to be able either to change it for good, change it for another thing. I mean, then we go into, and I'm a process person, like, okay, how do we ethically regulate that? That's immediately where I go into that piece. But normally, and this is the reason why I selected negotiation as a specialty, was to have better influence and understanding why people behave the way they do, and how to frankly meet people where they're at and really develop more win-win situations. That's the core of why I would want mind reading or mind control as a superpower.
Yeah, you're using it for the good.
For the good, right? Not to like, enrich, or I mean, do all the things that you can think like an evil villain would be doing, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, great. Awesome. So if our audience wants to get in touch with you and they're listening to this podcast, either on a podcast form or on our TV channels, how best do they reach you?
Absolutely. So we are on a number of social media vehicles. The top two that we're on is Instagram. So at the Win Woman is our handle on Instagram. And I also just professionally connect on LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn. We have a page, The Win Woman, on LinkedIn, or you can follow me at Yanyn San Luis. And that's where I'm at. Professionally, there's a lot of engagement we do on LinkedIn. So either Instagram or LinkedIn, that's where you can find us.
Awesome. Appreciate your time today. Another episode of Empower Her Money, where we are teaching you action items. And today we talked about certifications, being intentional with your certifications, find the ones that are right for your industry, and investing in yourself. So definitely get in touch with Yanny if you want more information on that. And I appreciate you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you for having me on.